Approval of the agenda, please. Councillor Norbury.
I'd like to make a motion that council varies the March 21st, 2022 regular council meeting agenda to move the closed meeting to item 7.
Seconder. Councillor Kirby. Any discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Carried, thank you. And second recommendation, please, Councillor Norbury.
The Monday, March 21st, 2022 regular council meeting agenda be approved as written.
Seconder. Councillor Lehman. All in favor? Opposed? Carried, thank you. Adoption of the minutes. 3.1, March 7th, 2022 regular council meeting minutes. Recommendation, please. Councillor Norbury.
That the March 7th, 2022 regular council meeting minutes be adopted as presented.
Seconder. Councillor Kirby. Any errors or omissions? Staff?
None.
Thank you. All in favor? Opposed? Carried, thank you. 3.2, March 8th, 2022 special budget council meeting minutes. Recommendation, please. Councillor Lehman.
The March 8th, 2022 special budget council meeting minutes be adopted as presented.
Seconder. Councillor Majinski. Any errors or omissions? All in favor? Opposed? Carried, thank you. 3.3, March 14th, 2022 special council meeting minutes. Recommendation, please. Councillor Norbury.
That the March 14th, 2022 special council meeting minutes be adopted as presented.
Seconder. Councillor Majinski. Any errors or omissions? Staff?
None.
Thank you. All in favor? Opposed? Carried, thank you. Any business arising from the minutes? Council? Staff?
No.
Thank you. No proclamations this evening, so delegations and petitions. TR Ridge Riders Snowmobile Association, Justin Kruse and Ryan Lamming represent the Snowmobile Club as per council's invitation to discuss the Caribou closure areas and the snowmobile management plan. Welcome. Welcome, Justin. Thanks for coming in. I appreciate your time.
Thanks for the invite.
I'm sure you're aware of the snowmobile management plan, and I wanted to thank you for your participation in the snowmobile committee as well. Knowledge and experience around here was very beneficial in there. So I just wanted to invite you guys to come in and really talk to us about your thoughts on the closures. And you know, I understand the frustration you felt after the committee wrapped up and the draft management plan came through. And I really, we haven't responded in the form of a letter yet to the province, but I wanted to touch base with the Snowmobile Club and really get your perspective on it and how you think we can move forward in a positive way. So.
Okay, yeah, I'll kind of just roll through each area we got here and then the implications behind the closures. So, Core Lodge, there will be no new closures there. There's some on the far east side of the mine site, which I don't think has ever been ridden. I think it'll actually benefit Core Lodge because we've been fighting with the government for a long time now to get a partnership agreement there. And with the closures, all the areas that are left open that we've identified in our process, they're supposed to be under a partnership agreement. So then we can move forward with shelters and trail grooming, and just we can move forward there with Core Lodge. So I think it's beneficial to Core Lodge. Bull Moose, we got hit the hardest out of the Tumbler area. I would say it's a special management area, and the implications behind that aren't 100% written in stone yet, but it's either going to be like a live caller data and like a day-to-day open close, and then you're going to need a permit to ride in that area regardless of like when it's open. So we're talking about if you join the Snowmobile Club, this is part of the BCSF, you'll receive a permit, and this permit is free of charge. And if you don't join the Snowmobile Club, you're on your own to go online and get it, but it's still free of charge. So that's kind of the biggest hit I think we took in this area is Bull Moose, and we're still going to have to wait. Nothing's written in stone, I don't think, yet for it. So we see what happens with that. But it's a really good family riding area. Other than Core Lodge, it's not quite as busy. Core Lodge is pretty crazy on the weekends now. Staging there is kind of wild, so it's kind of a bad shot to lose bonus for a local family riding area. Wolverine, that's the access issue that's going back to that road being decommissioned. Lost a little bit of area there on the southwest end of Albright Ridge, which is high alpine riding. It does get used, but it's not that much. I don't think Wolverine took too much of a hit. It's a hit nonetheless. It's access to Wolverine. You have to cross open water to get in there most of the season. So we can't. It's impossible to groom. We can't do anything with it. You can barely even sled in there now. I seen some pictures of that side hill going in there, and they had to spend 4 hours shoveling it out to get in there. Red deer, which is something more popular with local people, lost a bit on the far east side over by Belcourt Lake, but that's pretty negligible, I think. I think there's some room for improvement with the club there. If we do the partnership agreement there, there's a lot of opportunity for riding out there still. And then all the stuff on the Upper Murray, they're still riding up there. It's not as popular, but yeah, there's existing closures back there from the last time they went through. So basically everything on the west side of the Continental Divide is closed. There is Monkman Park, which is closed, and then there's some background Wapiti, I believe, that's closed as well.
Okay, and then Rogers Pass to access Wolverine, are we able to access, is that in the altitude zone?
That's open.
It is still open?
Yeah, that's still open.
Okay. Any questions, Council? Council Norbury?
Thank you, Mayor Bertrand. Thank you, Mr. Kruse, for coming in and explaining this sort of stuff. I'm not a snowmobiler, so it's important to hear this stuff from people like yourselves who know the area, so I can understand. I understand the importance. Right? So for bull moose, you mentioned you're going to be able to ride there, but it's going to be day to day, and it's going to be based on the live collar data that's coming in. Do you know how that information is going to be released? How are they going to contact
There's
us?
going to be a website that you'll have a login for if they go that route.
But not decided yet?
Yeah, that's looking like what it's going to be.
Go ahead.
Because the reason why I ask is that I know a lot of people travel here. I know sometimes there's information posted online that doesn't get to people's hands sometimes. So I'm just kind of curious on how we can just make sure that everyone can access it as much as possible to work around these restrictions.
Right, and I think it was more so recruiting within the membership of the club, and then that will give access to more information. Is that correct?
Yeah, so it's basically going to be, the onus is on whoever's riding out there to be diligent. If the conservation officers are out there, it's up to who's out there riding. I think social media is probably, as with all snowmobiling, social media seems to be the best form of outreach. So unless you can put a 4x8 sign on the side of the road, that's an interactive sign going to the riding area, social media is your best bet.
Yeah. Other questions, Council? Councilor Kirkhalka?
Thank you, Worship. Mr. Kruse, so we actually reached out to have you guys come in so we could try to, there was talk about writing a letter to the government from council. Before we did that, there was discussion about having a meeting with you guys, or at least a conversation with you guys, so that we were going down the right way with this letter back to the government, and really, how unhappy council is. You've affected the snow. I don't sled it as well, so I know all you guys are going to talk to you guys lots about it. So I guess from your guys' side, where can we help you guys? That's really why we invited you in. We want to know what we can do in this letter to assist our sledding club.
In all reality, we didn't get that hard, and at the end of the day, I think it's going to end up, the Pine Pass really got hit bad, and I think it's going to push more people here, so we're going to run into issues with staging areas. parking, roads plowed, signage, communication, all that stuff. And then there is enhancement funds supposed to be coming from the provincial government. We're not set we don't have a set dollar value at this point in time, but it's looking like it could be quite a substantial amount of money that's going to be split between Tumblr, Chetwynd, and Mackenzie. And then we'll have to sit down and go from there and decide where those funds go and what we want to enhance.
So that enhancement fund is separate from the 150,000 that they announced for planning?
Yeah, so those funds is strictly for planning. So
Right.
kind of throughout that whole engagement, we worked with Justin Ellis, RC Strategies. So basically, we'll go back and hire someone such as them through the BCSF for them to publish us a report.
Right, okay.
So that's kind of where we're heading in that direction right now. That's what we discussed in our last meeting.
Okay,
So it's looking like around 500K with 100K going to planning.
nice. That's an impact. Councillor Kirkhalka?
So I guess from your side, I mean, I'm not sure if you speak on behalf of the whole board.
Yeah.
You guys, by your delegation, you guys seem or pretty satisfied with what is happening in your local area, in your area that you take care of?
I'm not happy with what happened. Like Bull Moose is a big hit to the family riding area, and it's not set in stone what's gonna happen, but at the end of the day, it could have been a lot worse. Like, look what happened to Pine Passes, got hit really, really hard, and they lost a lot of riding areas. They didn't get designated access routes, we did.
Councillor?
So, I mean, without knowing exactly what's gonna happen with Bull Moose.
Yeah.
We're better off to, in my thoughts anyways, I can't speak for all council, hold off until you guys get more information. And then hit them with some help there for you guys.
Yeah,
You know,
like,
whether it's trying to open up a bit of it for the family access, like you say, so. Just kind of, like, I don't wanna put a letter out too early if these guys if the club's waiting to hear back, I mean, okay, I won't say you guys are happy, but, I mean, obviously you didn't get hit as hard as, I mean, feel bad for the Chetwynd area, Mackenzie area, but, I mean, obviously I know guys from Tumblr go down there to Pine Pass as well, but, like, that's what I'm looking for, is where can we assist you guys? To me, it seems like Bull Moose, you aren't sure yet what their exact plan is gonna be, and maybe we should hold off until that plan is published, and then find out where you guys need some assistance from council, where we can start, putting letters out as well from our side. I know other municipalities have already sent letters on their community and how unsatisfied and unhappy they are, whether it's the Pine Pass. I believe the PRD has also sent a letter talking about the whole area, and I just don't wanna see, and again, I don't wanna put words in the mouth that you're happy, but I think we didn't get hit as hard.
Yeah.
And I don't wanna start barking the tree and then we put lights on us and they come in and start, oh geez, we didn't realize we didn't cut this out, we didn't cut that out. But to me, I wanna help you where you guys need it.
yeah, as far as this whole process is going, it's not just the Caribou, it's the whole outdoor recreation thing in the past few years. The biggest hit that Tumblr's taken for snowmobiling is the deactivation of that Wolverine Forest Service road.
And that was one of the big trade-offs that we offered within the Snowmobile Committee was, restoration of that road to try and make that accessible again. But, I did have a conversation with Heather Weeb with Flinro, and I had mentioned how there is some areas that are isolated because the legal access trails weren't established. And she had mentioned that it was not of their intention to try and isolate any areas. So I'm just wondering, in our riding area, is there riding that is isolated because of that altitude level? And should we be looking at amendments for legal access trails? Because she did mention that it was feasible to request that because there was no intention to isolate. So I'm just wondering if another meeting with the district, yourselves and Flinro is necessary, or I did also mention to her the possibilities within the Core Lodge area. During the committee, we identified that there has been riding in there for 40 years and a big collar presence of caribou as well. So maybe it's an opportunity to further the research in that area, as well as with that area being the only one really open for us. We're seeing a significant amount of riders and increased ridership in that area. So We needed help with the parking lot clearing. And she did mention that there was budget this year to be able to help in that area. So possibly if you wanted to reach out to her to follow up on that. I'm not sure if anything has been taken on right at this point, but what are your thoughts?
Yeah, for sure, I'd be interested in that, and it'd be good to sit down with Heather and all of us and have a good chat. As far as areas being isolated here, I've pretty extensively went over the mapping, and maybe aside from the very back end of Bull Moose, everything here should be accessible.
Okay.
One way or another.
Okay, well, that's good to know. I know there was a 1,400 meter cap there, and I don't quite agree with the 30%, 70% ratio, and it seemed like there were some definitely isolated areas, but that's good to know. Okay, I will follow up with Heather and see if we can set something up there. Any further questions or comments, Council? No? Appreciate your time. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right. Resolution to close. I'd like to move that the meeting of the District of Tumbler Ridge scheduled for March 21st, 2022 be closed pursuant to the Community Charter provision section 91C, E, G, and J. C is labor relations or other employee relations. E is the acquisition, disposition, or expropriation of land or improvements. If the council considers that disclosure could reasonably be expected to harm the interests of the municipality. G, litigation or potential litigation affecting the municipality. J, information that is prohibited or information that if it were presented in a document would be prohibited from disclosure under section 21 of the Freedom of Information and Protection of Privacy Act. Seconder, Councillor Kirkhalka. All in favor? Opposed? Carried, thank you. 10-minute recess, please.